Alright guys, it is time for our first in the bag on the NF channel. So, I guess first question might be, why would you want to watch a random YouTuber who's not that good at disc golf in the bag? Well, most people just like in the bags for no reason. It's fun to see what other people are throwing. I'm no exception. I enjoy seeing what other people are throwing. I love seeing what my friends are throwing. So, also I kind of like to have this as like a document of what I was throwing this year, I guess. So obviously, I'm not a pro player. I don't have a 2025 season that I'm going into, but I am going to. We do take our league very seriously with the guys, and we just started back up. So this is what I'm throwing to try and compete with those guys and take as many wins as I can this year. So we're gonna start with the putters. Up first, I switched over from my fractal putters to my PA3s. These are 10-year anniversary 300 glow. They barely glow, but they're there. I like them because they match, so they're just interchangeable. I like to have a putter in my hand when I'm putting, and so it's really nice just to be able to grab a set, not know which one's which, not care, and just make those putts. So PA3s are what I started disc golf with. It's one of the first discs I ever bought was a PA3. Don't know why, I just grabbed it, and it's just what's the most comfortable in my hands, and I don't know if it'll ever change. We'll see. So up next is believe it or not, another PA3. This is probably the least amount of PA3s I've bagged most of all my seasons of disc golf. I only have 3 currently. So this is Appa. You might know this as Precious Child, according to what Noah calls it. So this is my go-to PA3. I've had this in my bag for a long time. I think it's my oldest disc in the bag, and it's just a fun little stand. We have some inside jokes with Avatar stuff, so I stamped this on there. This is my go-to approach for just about anything that's not a high wind situation. I like this for just a very straight throw with a light, when it falls out of the sky, it's a little bit of a left drop. So, but overall, it's pretty straight. It's fairly beat in, but it's just dead straight for me, which is great. A new addition to my bag is the Tempo. I got this from the Gyropalooza box, so I wiped it, put a little Momo stamp on there to go with my Appa. These are my other approach discs. So I'm not a big fan of overstable approach discs like the A2 or Good Zone or Zone OS or anything like that. It's just all too overstable for me. I'm not very good with them for whatever reason. So I really like this Tempo because I don't know if it's just this run or tempos in general, but it's a very good balance between straight and overstable, where I can hit this hard and flat, and I know it'll always finish out at the end. But it's not so bad that I'm going to throw it and it's just immediately going to dump or have a really aggressive hook, which I like for my approach disc. So I know Nick's a big fan of this one. He said it's like a beat-in zone, so take that what you will. And it's Total Eclipse glow plastic, which is great. So all of my putt approach discs are glow, so because I'm a big fan of that. So let's go on to our mids. One thing with my bag that is important to know is kind of the philosophy I'm going with this year is to not overcomplicate and to make it nice and simple as far as disc choice and options. So I'm trying to limit myself to not that many discs. I think I have 17 discs in the bag this year. My thing was to kind of keep it between 16 and 18, so somewhere in that range. I have a couple extra in there right now, but so for every category, you're going to kind of see the same pattern. I'm going to have an overstable, and a stable, and an understable disc. And for each category, or not all the categories, but most of them. But I find that that's all that I need, really. So that being said, we'll start off with our overstable mid-range, the Trash Panda Canyon. I had a lot of fun with this disc. It's nice and flexible. This is the prototype Canyon, so it's got that little bit of flashing on it. It's not the smoothed out new version. This is what I believe Jay Millie's disc was for this year. Anyway, it's got this cool ghost stamp on it. It's really flexible, which is nice. I find that when it hits the ground, it doesn't tend to skip a lot. It tends to kind of bite, which is handy. I like that. So, but again, this disc is I can hit it hard, and I know it's going to dump. It doesn't turn. I've thrown this maybe once in a headwind and not seen it dump out the end. It just held it dead straight the whole way. That was earlier today. It's crazy windy. So, but I've really been enjoying this. But again, another benefit of the way I like to bag this is that I could replace this with something else if I need to. If I lost this, I could put an MX2 or a Balance or a Swarm in there to replace this overstable mid-range because it doesn't have to be super unique. It takes a little bit of time to get familiar with that disc again to make sure it flies the way you want it to. But again, this makes it a little bit easier to replace them. So up next is the Clash Disc Berry. So I got this one for Christmas this last year, a couple of them, and I really enjoy it. The plastic's nice. Dead straight, I think the numbers are -1, 1, so it flies super straight, maybe a little bit of turn, a little bit of fade, depending on how it hits, how it comes out. But I like this for that dead straight shot, not a lot of fade, for those tunnel shots, stuff like that. So this has been really great, really enjoyable. Again, I have another berry. Other discs I would replace this with would be like an M3, something like an M2 with a little bit more bite, a good buzz, stuff like that. So, oh, thank you. I also bag a rangefinder and a chalk bag. So, thank you to Hadley for bringing those back to me. Okay, bye bye. Bye bye. All right, in that understable slot, of course, an M4. I love the M4 for that laser straight. If you flip it up to flat, super straight, no fade at all. I don't have a good backhand, so what I rely on a lot is for my understable disc. I love a good understable disc that you hit it flat and hard, and it just drifts right the whole way. So that is really helpful when you have a forehand. So I use this for all of my turnover shots. This is going to be one of my go-tos. It's kind of hits it hard, goes, maybe flattens out the end to not get a roll away. So great disc. I have other M4s I would replace this with. I haven't found a good replacement for this besides an M4. Maybe a Buzz SS or something like that. I had a Buzz SS for a while that was dead straight but didn't turn, so I'm sure you could beat something in. But again, M4s are great. 400 glow plastic, can't beat that. So that's our mid-ranges. Again, nice and simple, easily replaceable. So we're going to jump over to fairways. Again, starting with overstable. I picked up this recently. It's a T-Bird Glow from the Josh Claxton Memorial Tournament, so it was in the player pack. I just kind of picked it up randomly, and it ended up being exactly what I was looking for. My FD1 was breaking in a little bit, wasn't as overstable as I wanted, and I found that the T-Bird was a good replacement for that. It's a nice, flat, again, like the Tempo, where it's nice, flat, and hard, and has a finish at the end where it's not crazy overstable, it's not going to dump, but if I hit it, it doesn't turn very much, and then it just drops. So it's for my fairways that I need to turn left, that I don't want to turn it, or that I want to fade left, don't want to turn it all. So I'm not familiar with T-Birds. I don't know if all are like that, or if this is a special T-Bird that is more on the overstable side. But again, other discs I could replace this with would be a new FD1, an Athena, something like that. Again, I love a good 7-speed that has a nice finish at the end. So been really enjoying that this year so far. All right, this is pretty new to the bag. I finally put a Cicada in there. This is a tough spot because I was trying to find something that wasn't particularly laser straight, but a little different in that category. Is I want a little bit of turn, a little bit of fade. So especially like in the woods, you want that fairway to kind of move a little bit, guide through the woods. The Cicada has been perfect for that. So if you hit it just a little bit of hyzer, it'll get a little bit of turn, but then it fights back more than my understable disc will. So, which has been great. I really enjoyed this disc in the woods. I have a couple other Cicadas that fly pretty similar, so I would probably just buy another Cicada if I didn't like this. I've tried a couple other discs in that category, like the Meridian Disc Current, and I feel like it wasn't quite the same. So even though it had similar numbers. So really enjoying this, and it's a nice, cool burst of orange, which big fan of the orange. All right, for my understable slot, we are bagging a Proto Glow Leopard 3. So I know Nick has some Leopard 3s that he said weren't that understable, but this one's been really good for me. I don't know if it beat in pretty quick or not, but you hit this thing dead flat, and it just turns right the whole way. If I give enough time, it'll fade back out of it at the very end, if I get enough air, if you will. Or if I hit it on hyzer and flip it up, it's a really good laser straight kind of disc. That's why I wasn't that worried about having that slot in my straight disc. So now if you know me, if you know my bag, I would normally bag an F3 in this slot, but I want to try something a little different. I lost both my F3s this last year, and that hurt my bag quite a bit because I was really relied on those. But it happens, you lose them. I just hadn't found a good run of F3 that I liked to replace them. I just tried a couple and it wasn't the same. So I decided to try something new. I've really been enjoying this Leopard 3, and the glow on this is pretty crazy. I brought this in from a round earlier today, and it was just glowing in my office, which is crazy. So been really good, really enjoying this. Again, downsides, I don't know if a new Leopard 3 would fly the same. So I would honestly probably try and find a good run at F3 to go back to if I lost this one. So that's the fairways. Again, nice and simple, keeping it easy. Let's move on to the control drivers. All right, so in our control driver spot, this is like the 9-speed-ish slot. So for the overstable disc, again, this is my more overstable side. The main two overstable discs I'm bagging are the Canyon, and this is the Kevin Jones feedback from one of his, I think it's the first drop of the feedback with Prodigy, so it's got that cool skull stamp on it. So I find this run to be really pretty overstable. I was bagging a Raptor. In the drone shot, I'm actually throwing the Raptor, but honestly, the drone shot made me realize that the Raptor is too overstable. I don't care for it that much. I don't find myself pulling it out that often, but this is something that can hit hard and go get more distance out of it. It's going to stay flatter longer than the Raptor was, but still it's always going to dump and dump hard at the end, which is more of what I want. So more like that Canyon, but longer distance and higher speed. So really enjoying it. It's got a cool stamp. Like I said, this is within the drone shot, so like a week or two of having this in my bag. I've only thrown it a couple times, but I think I'm going to like it better than the Raptor. So moving on, this is our, if you're familiar with it, our title sequence disc. So this is actually a Thunderbird in G-Star plastic, I believe. So I put a ink stamp on there and to get that cool NF logo. I used it in our videos for a while. I was going to do a mystery, kind of try and guess this disc, but I gave up on that, and it's just a Thunderbird. I picked this up just for the intro because I liked the color. It matched our design we were going for, and I really enjoyed it. Again, this is very similar to like the, honestly, the T-Bird. It's like a longer T-Bird. If I hit this really hard and flat and straight, it goes for a long time and then has a light fade at the end. So not as aggressive as the feedback, but a little bit. And has a good little flex to it if you hit it with just a little bit of Anheuser. This is honestly one of my farthest flying discs if I hit it just right. It gets that turn throughout the flight and then comes back at the very end and gets me some, I've hit 400 with this thing. It's awesome. So random pickup that I've really been enjoying. All right, on the understable side, I have an H4 V2 from Prodigy. It's 400 plastic. Now this is technically a 10 speed. The numbers have changed quite a bit, so I'm not even sure what the numbers are anymore. This is a -2 1.5. This is a hard one to replace because it is that just right amount. If you hit it flat, it just drifts right for a lot of the flight and then fades out a little bit at the end. I've had quite a few H4s in my time, and they've all flown differently. I've had overstable ones. I've had super understable ones, so it's super hard to replace if you do get one. I thought this one was cool because it was clear, and I picked it up at a tournament, and I started bagging it. And like this is honestly one of the few that I don't know what I would replace this with. Maybe something like a Trail or a Gorgon might be more what this flies like. But it's been good to me. I've enjoyed this one. So again, that's our control drivers. All right, up next is our short distance drivers, or 11 speeds. So I only bagged 2 of them. I don't find the need for an overstable disc after that feedback. After 9 speed, I really don't need an overstable distance driver, and I don't need an overstable 11 speed. So the 2 I'm bagging here are the, you might recognize my Creamsicle Grace. I lean into this disc a lot for my distance drivers. It's kind of my go-to distance driver. Threw a Creamsicle stamp on there because I thought the orange swirl looked like that, and I love a good orange cream drink or ice cream. So again, if you've thrown a Grace, you know them. They're really great. It's that, you hit it really hard. This one I find for the longest time has been hit really hard, flat the whole way. It's like a longer Thunderbird, or about the same as the Thunderbird. You hit it really hard and flat, and it goes straight for a long way, and it has a light finish at the end. Lately, it's starting to finally beat into where I think I'm getting it to where it's actually drifting right, and then fading just slightly at the end, which is great. So what I really wanted out of it was a light turning disc the whole way. So, and that's been good to me. So, on the other side of that, we have a Vanish. So I just got this in the Driver Palooza box. Again, it's Glow. I've been enjoying this. I had a vanilla in this slot, and I decided to switch out for the Eclipse. So again, this one is you hit flatter on hyzer a little bit, and it'll turn over the whole flight, and then kind of, again, like the Leopard 3 or the H4 V2, but more so, has kind of a flip to it, and then dumps at the end. Just a little bit more aggressive than those other ones. If you hit it flat, it tends to turn over pretty good and not go as far, so you have to be kind of touchy with it. But probably could be used as a roller in certain situations. So those are the 11 speeds, nice and simple, not even overstable one. All right, and to wrap it up, we've got 2 distance drivers in that 12 speed slot. So understable first, we've got the recycled Thrasher. So I picked this up really recently. I just want something flippier in that distance slot for those tailwind shots / a lot of hyzer or turning shots, something more than the Vanish could give me. And so I picked up a Thrasher on kind of just a whim. And so I ended up with the Thrasher, just kind of randomly picking out. So the recycled wouldn't be as understable, but it's still pretty understable. So don't throw this very often, but it's there if I need it. So this is that 17th disc, like I was saying, that I don't normally bag, but I have. So, and to wrap it up, is one of my favorites is this Special Blend D3. I believe I got this in the first Prodigy Club box I did. Really enjoy it. It's Special Blend plastic, so it just feels a little bit stiffer, a little different. Has that good spectrum burst to it, and that orange I really like. If you hit it hard, it goes really fast, really straight. It has a nice finish at the end of it. Again, like the Grace or the Thunderbird, but even further. And I would usually pull this out if I'm worried about turning at all. I would pull this out rather than the Grace. So it hasn't quite started beating into turn yet. So, okay, one more. So that'll do it for this in the bag. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I plan to do a video further on about why I bag a smaller amount of discs, like the reasons behind that and the logic behind it. So if you want to see that video, let me know in the comments below. And I'll definitely make that for you guys and kind of explain the logic there. If you want to see any other guys in the bags from our group, let me know. I'll get them on the channel to break down what they're throwing and why they're throwing it. In the meantime, like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed that and stuck around for the whole thing. And I'll see you in the next one. Hello. You want to come sit in the video? Hallie, what are you throwing this year? What you doing? Yeah, you want to come sit with me? Yeah. What are you doing? Can you say disc golf? Disc golf? Do you want to go play disc golf with Daddy? Yeah. Got a little sauce in your face. Yeah. Do you want some ketchup?
Blah blah.
Yeah, some blah blah. Can you say hi? Can you say like and subscribe? Yeah. Okay. Can you go get Mama?
Mama.
Yeah. Can you go? Where's Mama?
Hey.
Ready? Ready, set, go get Mama. Go get her. Can you push this over to Mama? Go get her. Hey, here, you want to play with this? Can you take this to Mama?
Mama.
Take it to Mama, go. Go, go, go.